What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, and more confirmation that Antonio Conte will be the next coach of Juve, basically. That he will quit Napoli at the end of the season, no matter if they, win the title or not, because he wants to return to the club. That's basically the latest leaks, I might say. But there's also some actual news from good sources as well. Talking about Antonio Conte and why it could happen / why it potentially could not happen as well, because that's still a thing. And then also an interesting quote from Scanavino, which kind of confirms what I was saying about Giuntoli, that he's not going to leave this transfer window or this summer, and how that could potentially completely mess up getting Antonio Conte. So it's a bit all over the place. However, try to get the things on track a little bit, because it's becoming very clear that we don't have a lot of options besides Tudor. But before we do that, smash the like button. Do that right now. Subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about the latest leak about Antonio Conte. Okay, so the league is actually very simple. Oriali, who followed Conte to a lot of places. Usually, if he follows Conte, he becomes a team manager. He did that for Inter, he did that for Italy. He's now at Napoli, but I'm pretty sure he's not the team manager at Napoli. He has some other title at Napoli. Maybe it's the same thing, however, but usually he's Antonio Conte's team manager. He's also an ex-Inter player back in the days. I think it's the 80s, pretty sure, around the 80s, that he played for Inter. And the news is that he told, people, and he got quoted in the media saying that I follow Conte everywhere, but I cannot follow Conte to his next job, potentially being Juve, because he's an ex-Inter player, and you can do 1 + 1 is 2. Now, does that mean he's coming? No. The interesting one is that Nikico came out and he talked about last season, where he was waiting for the club. He was waiting for us. He was waiting for us. Talks with Ibrahimovic, and everybody remembers that Milan story back in the day, or last summer, excuse me. But he was waiting for us. He was waiting for Elkann or Giuntoli, whatever, to say, you know what, we are gonna work with you instead of basically Thiago Motta. But that never came, and that's why the club right now came to the realization, according to Nikico, that if they want to be back competitive, to be competitive again and start winning again quickly as well, they need to hire Antonio Conte. And that's why, especially Elkann, is pushing for Antonio Conte's return, for a second spell at the club, even though, the moment he left, what was it, 2015, 14, 15? I think 14, 15, I think it was the season, right? Anyway, when he left, it came as a shock, and the years after that, I think everybody had a feeling at one point he's coming back if Agnelli leaves, and Agnelli left, and we hired Thiago Motta. So I think a lot of people were shocked. It was like, okay, if he's not coming back right now, then he's never coming back, But now you are in a situation where he can look back at it and it's like, you didn't contacted me, or you didn't took the chance with me last summer, and now that you're in a mess and I'm winning the title with Napoli, you want me to leave that behind, whilst the club is trying to add De Bruyne, Surukov, Jonathan David, keep Lukaku, and things like that. You want me to leave that behind, a team that's probably gonna be set for 95% before preseason, to step in this mess where a lot of players are going to leave because they're on loan, a lot of players probably will be sold, and I need to rebuild that completely where there's nothing left. And I'm probably rebuilding things while you're signing players in August, a week before the season kicks off. He can easily say, I'm not doing this, and actually, I think he's going to say that. Why would he do that? The job he's taking on sounds ridiculous. Even for him, it sounds ridiculous because it's a complete mess, from links to Giuntoli leaving, to Scanavino saying, no, he's not leaving, to now Giovanni Albanese is saying, yeah, he's not leaving. And with 2, 3 signings, they think they will be competitive, which is a complete lie because we're going to lose a lot of players because we do not own a lot of players, nor should we sign certain players on a permanent deal as well. That's a complete lie. We're going to need more players just by default because of the things we messed up in the past. It sounds more unlikely that Conte will jump into this than likely. However, to this day, right now, it's Tudor and it's Conte's name. And actually, Tudor's name is just out there because he is currently the coach. He's not, the name is not out there because, he's doing a fantastic job, because the club is talking about and saying, oh, we will see, the deal was always after the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup means nothing. It means squad. It means squad. Whatever we're going to do in the Club World Cup, a big portion of the money is secured. Everything else is bonus. The club did not, if we make it out of the group, fine. If we do not make it out of the group, the club will not care about the coaching job in that tournament. Also, because some players are not just going to be here. They're on loan. They're going to be away, So it's a complete mess. The Club World Cup doesn't matter. The fact that they keep repeating that, saying we will see after the Club World Cup, tells me they don't want to go through with Tudor. But it's Tudor or it's Conte. Mancini is not an option because Elkann said no in January. When Giuntoli wanted Mancini and Mancini wanted a long-term deal, 2 years, Elkann said, we're not going to do that. We're going to make a decision in the summer. That tells me he doesn't want Mancini, nor should we want Mancini. Gasperini is just heavily linked to Roma. It makes sense. So that's that out there as well. There are not many options. Last year, it was clear it was going to be Thiago Motta for weeks, months, whatever you want to call it. It was so obvious. Right now, it's not obvious. A lot of things sound not obvious, but they are going to need to start obvious. They're going to need to start sounding obvious, really quickly. Really quickly, because players you try to sign and players you're trying to keep or players to sell, they all need to know who the hell the coach is going to be. The coach is going to need to be looking at this and be like, no, I want to keep this player. No, we should not be going for these players, because I can do a job with those type of players. And then maybe we can save money for that player. I don't know. The fact that that's not really clear right now is worrying, or you can flip it, it's not clear because it's going to be Antonio Conte. However, he's in a title race with Napoli, so it's impossible to plan certain things. That can also be the case. In any way, the new coach, whoever it's going to be, and we will, if it's Tudor, I will, speak about Tudor if he gets confirmed, whatever. That needs to be done. That needs to be clear during the Club World Cup as well. If it's not Tudor, I don't care if he's coaching and he knows he's gonna be sacked, because he knew that from the get-go basically. And the Club World Cup, again, it is what it is. So things are gonna need to sound very, very clear just for their own sake, for the club's sake. So hopefully that starts very, very soon. All that. But right now, it feels like it's Conte or kind of a bust. Anyways, let me know in the comments, what do you think about that leak? And do you think that Conte will, quote unquote, forgive the club for not going for him last summer and leave that Napoli thing, what he has built right now, behind to, well, just build from scratch yet again? Let me know, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow. Ciao.